Hey everybody, welcome to episode 22 of Restoration Z. Oh man, this is going to be a fun one. Today's going to be a chill day because I've just got some easy jobs to do. If you remember from the last video, I showed you these plates that were mirrored. Well, I've brushed them, mind the oily fingerprints. I've basically just brushed them to tone them down a little bit because that mirror polish was too much. I was then concerned about, you know, this hitting into the frame because this will bend over time. So I just put some RBT and a few lines where it could contact the frame and that should help protect it. Oh, you might notice my cool skateboard here. I'm just getting into skateboarding, so I don't want to go too big too early, or no. The truth is, these are my skateboard wheel axle sliders. This is a way you can make axle sliders for like 10 quid. And these, as you can see, have yellowed and gone a bit manky. And they've done their job a few times. You can see the scrapes in them. So we can retire these. And the cheapest way of getting those size wheels is to buy a board like this. I got this from Sports Direct for $8.99. And it's got the wheels on because you need the wheels with the bearings because you want something in there to clamp on. This threaded rod only cost me about £1.90, something like that. And that's all we need to make the skateboard wheel axle sliders. And I'll show you that in this video because I'm planning to put these on the bike, this on the bike, and maybe the exhaust, or at least the header anyway. Let's get on with it. Actually, no, before we get on with it, I need to address one thing. The purple squidgy shoes, okay. I asked you not to laugh, and you all laughed. There was more comments on that video than nearly any other video in the build series, and most of them were about these squidgy shoes. I've explained my reasons. But because you all laughed, I'm not going to wear them. I can't bring myself to do it now. So I've done this instead. Do you like that? That's multicoloured socks which don't match with sandals. This is what you made happen by laughing at my purple squidgy shoes. You caused that. Stop laughing at my purple squidgy shoes. Okay, this one lives here, and I've just realised I'll need to put the rear brake on and bleed it and everything before I can put that on finally. So, should I stick the rear brake on? I suppose I could do that. Okay, well, let's get the rear brake on. The rear brake belongs here. This is where we're going to put the rear brake, and then the brake line extends from up here all the way down here. You caused this. Don't speak ill of the squidgy shoes. Just looked at the caliper and was like, oh, no brake pads. Thankfully, with thanks to Wimoto.com, we have brake pads. They supplied these to the build. Huge thanks for them supporting this build. They have done a huge amount for us. Lots of the stuff we're going to be using to, like, you know, the oil and the coolant and stuff like that is with thanks to them, as are these. And also, huge thanks to other people who've helped support this build, both companies, patrons, and everyone. The headlight is on its way. I got an email from them. Things got delayed. It basically got sent out like today, or it should be getting sent out today. So fingers crossed with the few jobs we have left. If I don't rush too much, it will come in at just the right time. We can get that on there. That'd be awesome because that's an LED drop-in headlight replacement thing. It should be very cool. So the caliper's on, new pads are in, brake lines are on, new banjo bolt washers, cross washers. And now I'm going to try and reverse bleed it using a couple of syringes. Basically, this is a kit available on Amazon. I'll stick it in my Amazon storefront if I can find it there to be linkable. You get 2 syringes and a hose. You probably need some clamps because this doesn't feel that tight on that nipple. And you can reverse bleed your brakes. I've never done this before, so I'm just going to try and do it. There are videos out there to teach you how to do this. To my understanding, you need 2. One to collect fluid out of your reservoir at the top as you fill it, and one to fill it. Ow! That clip should hold that. Now, in theory, with a bit of pressure, we should end up seeing fluid appear up here. My first attempt at reverse bleeding kind of didn't work. I ended up reverting to the normal system. But now we have a functioning rear brake. However, you'll notice it's not very free moving, and I'm trying to work out whether that's just the pad rubbing a little bit or whether the wheel bearings are a bit gone. I guess I'll go for a quick ride once it's back together. You know, they're not, the bearings aren't showing any movement in them. They might just be a bit stiff. I don't know. attach that. I've put some rubber washers behind which have been crushed, so that should mitigate some of the vibrations. Oh, I've just made a dirty mark worse. Okay, so as you can see, we've got that one on, and it fits absolutely fine. And I do think that dulling it down was a great idea because it now matches in. On the other side, I had to make some slightly longer bolts for the rectifier. That bolt comes with it. I had to do a little bit of bending, but yeah, that's actually fitted on fine as well. Skateboard wheel axle sliders. You can spend about £90 or something like that on some axle sliders, or you can spend a tenner and do it this way. I didn't actually need to buy locking nuts because there's some here and I'm pretty sure that's the same size as this thread, but so you could save a couple of quid there, but I wanted new ones. Okay, be aware this only works on bikes with hollow axles. You can't do this on bikes without hollow axles. Right, then I'm just going to chop a little piece off the end of this bar, round off the end, attach a nut, and then work out what length we need. I'm doing this slightly different to what I've done in the past. I'm putting a washer in the front, I'm putting a big washer in the back to help brace it so it doesn't pull the bearings apart as much, because that's something that did happen. It stripped the threads. I didn't put hardly any pressure on that. I'm looking at this threaded bar, and the thread on it is so thin. And look how soft it is. Well, let's see what it takes to break the threads. Focus. Right, well that's how much I was able to squish it in the vise without putting too much pressure on it. And as you can clearly see, the threads all got stripped out. This all threaded rod, is terrible quality, and that thread pitch is so thin, there's just virtually nothing to it. The design of these wheels is different. Look, this side is sunken, that side is sunken, this side is sunken, this side isn't. They've offset them to try and make the board a little bit wider, but having the same size wheel, I guess. This means I need to get some more of this stuff, but stuff that's actually good and not absolutely terrible. See, nothing's a simple job. I've got to try and go and get some of this now that's good. Okay, it's the following day. I popped down to Wickes, and it so turns out that Wickes sell 2 threaded rods, which are, you know, M8 by 500, so half a metre each, in a bag, which are almost the perfect length. Highly recommended, and it'll fit in your bag easier than the full length one. The shiny stuff on this side is correct. This stuff is what I bought from the other place. Can you see the problem? Okay, so let's do this quick. This is my suggested process for making these. Get the rod, screw on a nut, round the end slightly, or if it's a nice end, it's fine. Loctite one of them on, and use Nylock locking nuts. Okay. Then the next one you want is a small washer. I'm using stainless steel because I have them and also because they won't rust. That will then go on here and choose the side of the wheel that you want to face out. I'm using that to brace harder against the central core of the wheel. Then I'm putting a large washer on the back. Then shove that through the bike, put the wheel and the washers on, and then cut it. You're going to have to guesstimate where you need to cut it so it's the right length afterwards. I've already done that. I think I'm about spot on. But yeah, so then what you need is the same thing in reverse on the other side. Put that through. Washer, wheel, washer, locking nut. It just so happens that they do turn, which is probably not ideal, but I doubt they'll do that for long. And there you go, there's your skateboard wheel axle sliders. Oh, regarding what I was talking about earlier on, I'm not going to leave it and see what it's like. I'm going to get a bearing kit for the rear and a bearing kit for the front and just replace those. I'm also going to get a rebuild kit for the rear caliper because I think the slider is an issue as well. So just, you know, just knock all those issues out in one go. Though doing the bearings will be interesting because I don't have a press. But I do have a tool I can borrow, and I have a freezer. I'm sure I can work it out. I was going to put the header pipe on in this video, and then I realised that's probably not the best idea to do because I don't have the bracket for the midsection made yet. I'll need to make a little plate. I'm not going to wait to order one from China. I can make one with some stainless and a TIG welder, so I'm going to do that. So that'll be in a future video. I also have this for the exhaust, which is a universal cover because I never had one of those. So that'll set off nicely. It's brushed aluminium like everything else, so whatever it is, brushed look, matte, silver, whatever. This little brake cable clip and the headlight, which should be in the post, they're the last part. Oh, and the plastics, they're the last parts that need to go on the bike. So I'm going to wrap this episode up here, keep it a little bit shorter. It's what was supposed to be a really chill, easy day ended up being not a chill, easy day. Everything going wrong, and then going to get the threaded rods, someone tried to run me off the road. So, you know, it's not been as chill as I was hoping, but it will be all right. Thanks to my patron supporters. In the next one, I guess we'll get that plate made so we can put the exhaust system on. Maybe put the oil in the engine. Oh no, we do need to make the overflow little thing. There's a few little jobs. Catch me in the next one. Bye bye. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to see future videos. This channel is made possible by the support of the audience. Please consider joining my Patreon to get early access to videos, questions answered in the monthly Q&A, your name on screen, and some exclusive content, all for as little as $1 a month. You can also check out the links in the description to my merch and other ways to directly support the channel. Thanks for watching.